All right, well, let's go ahead and get it kicked off today. First of all, thank you everyone that has jumped on to join us. Today, Matt Grisham, our AX consultant, is going to be sharing information on how to do SSRS reporting with Dynamics AX. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Matt.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Welcome, everybody, to the Dynamics Care webinar on SSRS Reporting and Dynamics AX. Today, we're going to cover the advantages of SSRS reporting. Then we're going to look at the tools currently available in AX 2009 to create SSRS reports. And then we're going to do an extremely brief introduction to SSRS and AX 2012. All right, so why use SSRS reports rather than the X++ reports in AX? Well, for starters, you have a lot more options when it comes to formatting your reports. X++ is kind of going away as far as Microsoft is concerned, and they're moving towards the SSRS reports because you just have so many more options when you're creating your reports, especially today when not all your reports are printed on paper anymore. A lot of them are presented, on screen through the enterprise portal. So the SSRS reports are better suited for that type of use. It also allows you to add some interactivity to your reports. It also integrates with the Microsoft BI stack, which is a thing that Microsoft has been pushing for a while. And like I said earlier, it's the way of the future in Microsoft's eyes. So it's better to start embracing SSRS reports now than to wait and then get caught up later. Okay, so the first tool that we're going to talk about to use SSRS reports in AX 2009 as the report builder. It's a tool integrated into the AX client that builds reports off of AOT perspectives. And then those perspectives are used to build report models, and then from those report models, end users or power users or anyone in the organization can build reports from that. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here I am. I'm in AX and AOT. Under the data dictionary, you have the perspectives. And these perspectives, they're used not only for this ad hoc reporting with the report builder, but they're also used to build the standard analysis cubes from Microsoft. And we're going to take a look at this cusp perspective. You'll see in the properties that its usage has been set to ad hoc reporting. That means that this perspective is allowed to be used to create report models. It's also labeled accounts receivable. It can be labeled anything you want, but I just want to note that because we'll see this in a little bit. To create a perspective, it's pretty easy. You just right-click New Perspective. And then once you've created a perspective, you just drag tables from the tables node into your perspective. And then those tables and their associated fields will be available to create reports. Okay. Now that we have our perspective, you can jump up to the AX button, go to Tools, BI Tools, Report Model Generation Options. And this is where you set your settings for how you want your models to be created. You can log your update events. You can designate where to publish your models to. You also choose which company you're going to use for currency and how you want to sort your fields and entities in your model. And you can also choose which languages to use. So I speak U.S. English, so chose U.S. English. So those are the options. And then to actually update your models, you go back to the Tools menu, the BI Tools menu, and update a report model. And then that will grab any changes that you've made to your perspective and update all your models based on the options that you've set. To get to the report builder, from here, you go back to the BI Tools menu, select Report Builder, and here you choose which report data you want to use. And so earlier when I said to take note of the label of your perspective, you'll see that the perspective is accounts receivable, so I'm going to build a report on that perspective, so I choose accounts receivable, select my language, and then I'll click OK. And then it does take a little bit of time to open, so I've taken the Food Network trick of putting something in the oven and pulling it right back out, and already opened Report Builder, so we don't have to wait on it. And here's the Report Builder. So you have your report layout area, you have your entity screen, and the actual fields. So you can think of your entities as the tables listed in your perspective, and then those fields are those fields in that table. And then once you start adding fields from an entity, your entity screen changes so that you can drill down into the related tables from that main entity. Let's say I'm an AR clerk and I want to take a look at all sales orders that have been either delivered or invoiced for various customer groups, for all customers, group by customer group. I can use this perspective to start building my report. So I can add a title like sales orders. I'll click on customers, start adding customer group. I want to see the customer account number and the customer name. And those are added to my report. And it's just easy as that. You just select, drag and drop on the report where you want them to go, and Report Builder takes care of the rest. And you'll see up here that the entities have changed to all the tables that are related to customers. So if I scroll down, I'll have a sales order detail entity. From there, I can get the sales order number, and I can also get the status of that sales order. That field's really wide. I'm going to scroll over and get down a little bit. I've also got some options up here. I can filter and sort my report. So I said that I only wanted to take a look at delivered and invoiced sales orders. So I click on the report button. For my sales order entity, I click on status. I'm going to drag that status field over here into where my filters are. Since I want two different ones, I'm going to select in a list, and then I'm going to select delivered and invoiced, and click OK. And then I'm going to want to group by customer group, or I'm going to order them by customer group. So sort by customer group ascending from lowest customer group to highest customer group. Okay. And then to just preview my report, or actually see the actual results from my report, all I have to do is click Run. And you can see here that I've got all my customers in my customer group number 10, presented here the status sales orders that have been invoiced or delivered. There's multiple pages here, and you can click through. You'll see that 20 is the next one, so it's sorting in the right order. So I get to the last page, you've got 30 and 90, and their sales orders that have been invoiced or delivered. So this is a really easy tool. It's pretty intuitive to use. The most difficult part is probably trying to understand which fields you want and how they relate to each other. But I think almost anyone with a good working knowledge of AX can use Report Builder to make their own reports. So it definitely helps to lighten the burden on IT staff from always having to run really simple, one-off reports that maybe a power user or an end user could probably create themselves with Report Builder. You can also save these reports up to the report manager by just saying save. And you can see I'm saving it to the report server. I'm going to save it in the Dynamics folder. I'm going to call this sales order report, and then today's date. Save. That publishes it up to the report server. And then if I want to run this report in the future, I can go back into AX to the AX button, tools, BI tools, report manager. And once it opens, I could scroll down, or I'm just going to do a control find sales orders or sales order report, August 17th. I click on its title, it loads, and it's the same report that we saw earlier when we ran it in Report Builder. So now it's not available just to me when I created it, but now I can share it with my whole team as a quick way of saying, hey, if you need a list of sales orders that have been invoiced or delivered by customer group, use this report. It's out on the Report Manager site. Okay, that's Report Builder. So the other main tool used to create SSRS reports with AX 2009 are the reporting tools. It uses Visual Studio, and they use the AX queries and the AOT and the business connector to get the data from AX. And you actually create your reports in Visual Studio, which is a lot more powerful design-wise, formatting-wise than the Report Builder, and it blows X++ just out of the water when it comes to formatting options. Those reports can also be added as menu items in AX, whereas Report Builder reports it's a little more difficult to get them incorporated as a menu item. Because you can add them as a menu item, you can run them straight out of AX. You don't have to go out to the Report Manager site and run them from there, even though you can if you want to. So back in AX, here is the queries node. I've gone ahead and created my own query called items. To create a query is pretty much the same as a perspective. Right-click, new query, except for there's a little more detail that you can get into when you're making these queries. You can add data sources, which can be tables or views. You can also remove fields if you don't want them included in the query. You can add related tables by adding tables into the data source of another table. You can group and sort. There's a lot of things you can do with these queries, and the queries are probably honestly the most difficult part of the whole process when trying to create these SSRS reports, unless you keep it really simple like I've done here. So this item query is just the invent table. It's pretty straightforward. I've gone into Visual Studio. I've already kind of set most of it out because it takes a little while. But to create a new AX reporting project in Visual Studio, you select New Project, and then from either Visual Basic or Visual C#, you'll have a Dynamics AX reporting project. You'll fill out your file name, solution names, and click OK. So when that loads up, you won't have any of these designs or data sets. So you click Add a New Data Set. In your Properties window, you'll designate Dynamics AX as your data source. And you'll select Query. And then in the Query field, you can click on this ellipsis button, and it will go connect out to Dynamics AX, read all those queries in the list from AOT, and give you that list of queries that you can select from to build your report data from. And this does take a little bit of time. So here I can find my items query. I can either select to include all the fields, or I could just select individual fields like item group and item ID and item name if I wanted to. But I've already defined my data set, so I'm just going to delete this out. So here's my data set with item group, item ID, and item name. Then to create a report from that, it's pretty simple. You just take your data set and drag it onto the Designs node, and it will create an auto design based on layout template from your references. So I've already created an auto design using this template. You can also control the width of your fields for your data. And you can add groupings based on different fields. So I'm going to group my report by item group, and then under that I'm going to show item ID and item name. To preview this auto design, all I have to do is click preview button. And it shows how my report is set up. I've also added some drill down capability to it. Yeah, that's set from underneath on the table name and the item design, your navigation style. You can select drill down. So that shows under my groups, I have the drill down capability to just click on the item group name and then show the numbers and then collapse it up to keep my report more concise. You also have the option to change this to a document map. If I save that and then preview it, you'll see instead of drilling down in my report, I now have this document map on the left-hand side of all my different groups, so I can jump up to the DVR group and then see all my items in the DVR group. So that's a little bit of that interactivity that I was talking about earlier that SSRS enables you to do with your reports. Then if you want to save this back to AX, all you have to do is go to your Solution Explorer, right-click the report name, select Save to the AOD. What that does is it saves it to the Report Libraries node in AX and the AOT. So if I look for Sample Item Report, see that library. That's the same. That's the connection that's made when you save it back to the AOT from Visual Studio. From there, you can create menu items of a display type. Not sure if I've done that yet. But from there, you can create menu items that reference that report library, and then you can add them onto the actual menus in AX, so then that your users can then run that report from within AX, and they don't have to go out to the report manager site. And that's reporting tools for AX 2009. All right, so the last thing we're going to cover today is the reporting in AX 2012, and I have to apologize. I was going to try to show a demo of the reports in AX 2012, but unfortunately, since AX 2012 is so new, and there's so many different new demos coming out, we don't have a full version completely stood up yet that has the reporting server on it. But I can tell you that all the reports in AX 2012 are going to be in SSRS. There's going to be some capability to use the X++ report still, but it's only in maintenance mode, which means Microsoft isn't going to do any upgrades for the X++ reports. So SSRS is pretty much your only reporting option moving forward with AX 2012. And I just kind of repeated the advantages of SSRS reports from earlier. This gives you a lot more formatting options. You can make your reports look really cool. There's some people out there that just know so much about Visual Studio and SSRS reports that you can do almost anything with reports these days. So it's a big improvement from the standard reports in 2009 to the standard reports in 2012. So that pretty much concludes the webinar today. Are there any questions out there? All right. Well, if you have any questions later today, just send them on to info@ibis.com. And thanks for your time today.